This is my state, this is my team. You know what that means. This is for the black and blue that I bleed. This is for the chance to bring home that ring. But everybody gonna doubt this. So far there ain't been another way around it. We bring heat to the game each week. They just say we ain't got what it takes, we ain't bout it. Well, y'all can just keep saying that we ain't gonna make it, but at the end of the day, this will be the Panthers nation. You know, this ain't a game to us major players at every angle that you can think of. That's why you hate us. Get out the way of greatness. You can look at our faces and see the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to create this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you can save it. Cause even on the darkest of days, you know we're always gonna find a way to tell them what we gonna do. We gotta
Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? Let's get this thing rolling, shall we? And it's been a minute since we've been streaming, but I'm very, very excited to be back. And we got some big news today. We got some big news today. I don't know if y'all haven't seen it yet. If y'all been living under that tunnel vision rock of all the haters out there. But Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. Let's go. Let's go. We're here to talk about how that's going to impact us going forward and why this deal was as magical as it was and as much of a steal as it was. But before we get started, if you guys could hit that like button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Also be sure to check out the Facebook page Keep Pounding in all caps for in-game posts, polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as schedule releases. Please hit that sub button if you haven't already on YouTube. It's free. Follow button or join button on the Facebook group page. Follow button. It's free. Come on, guys. If you haven't already, what are you doing with your life? Come on, man. Hey, we in here celebrating that win, though. What a win indeed. And there's a lot that goes with this trade. There's a lot of aspects that go with it. So, I'm going to add in Twerma here as we go through our opening thought processes here. But welcome to Corey McKinney, to Mike, to Rashawn and Paul on Facebook. Welcome to Lock Poppy on YouTube here. Shout out to y'all. Man, how you feeling about this news? Woo! I'm going to tell you what. This puts us at 5 quarterbacks officially if you count the punter, Hecker. Because I technically do. If you've seen Hecker throw, you know, those short passes, yeah, it's rather impressive. So, at this point, I view Hecker as pretty much the equivalent of PJ Walker, the game, like a game manager right now, until I see more in training camp in a few weeks, which I'm very, very excited to watch. But, you know, that puts us at 5 quarterbacks. Injuries-wise, we're set. That's goal number 1. We've had so many injuries. What this is also going to do, number 2, this is going to push out Sam Darnold, which is going to make a lot of people happy because Sam Darnold didn't really do that much this year. So we're writing out that last year of his contract. We've got to pay him, you know, so he'll be out the door. Now, my question is, what will PJ Walker's future be with this move? Because at this point in time, you look at a practice squad for PJ Walker, which, I mean, I'm not against it at this point because of what we just brought in, and we still have to train up Matt Barclay. So I'm not against it. If we have our solid 3 quarterbacks, going forward, PJ will get his spot at third string in 2023 and still be able to stay. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I definitely think we need to reserve a practice squad spot for PJ Walker because of the current situation and what he's done for us last year as a game manager. Yes, he wasn't fantastic, but, he was a game manager. He came in, he did what he did, and he's had experience with our offenses. He's been on the field, he's had game time experience. So it's a good idea to put him on the practice squad, but not cut him at this stage. That's what I'm looking at with him. Now, the third thing this is going to do is this is going to push out Robbie Anderson. Now, for those that want to talk about Robbie Anderson, there's been a lot of toxicness coming from his corner this year. I mean, we'll get into that a little later, but, if you guys want to. But, yeah, this is definitely going to push out Robbie Anderson. He's not going to be happy about this. He's already openly objected to it. And for me, I don't mind. Because, here's the thing, man. He didn't do that much last year. So, he didn't walk the walk to back up his talk. So, for me, I have no problem with this. Now, the next thing this is going to do is the fact that the trade itself, we're looking at a 5th round conditional pick being moved for Baker in 2024. This is not 2023 picks, mind you. This is 2024 once we've already built up some depth in this next draft. So this is excellent. And a 5th round pick is not going to hurt us in the long run when you're looking at draft boards. So I'm very pleased with that. And it also tells us that the Browns were very, very desperate to get rid of him, which isn't in their best interests, to be real with you. You're not going to get Watson for the 22 campaign. You're going to be starting, I forget his name, but it's not looking good for Cleveland. But it's all upwards for us. I love this trade. I think, if we can keep that offensive line healthy, with the quarterbacks that we have for 75% of the year, we're going to do well. I'm excited to see what this quarterbacking crew can do. I don't see Sam Darnold's ceiling going that much further than it already is, even with a better line. But we'll see. Prove me wrong. I'm open to suggestions, man. To that suggestion. I'll check him out in camp. I'll see what he can do. I'll take a look at him. If everything they're saying is true, DJ is vouching for him, so I'll listen to DJ. I will. I'll listen to Mr. Moore. If he thinks that this is going to help Sam Darnold, then I'm all for it. Now that could create a potential problem in 23 when we have to decide, okay, are we extending Sam Darnold or are we not? If he does well. That also creates a second problem of saving Matt Rule's job if we go do better than 6 or 7 wins, right? So, at this point, it's up in the air. But the fact that my main concern was the money. If you think about the fact that we are $30 million in the red for next year, 30 mil, that's a lot of money. I don't know how much the league is going to give us, once they compensate us, but, we're 30 mil in the red as of right now. The good news is that through this trade, we only had to pay half of his salary. And that is exactly the golden goose situation that we want. Magical. And it benefits us in so many ways. I'm very pleased. If we are able to capitalize on this, we're not going to be able to do much in 2022. But if we can start building around it, build some depth on the line, build this and this and that, going into 24, then we should be looking real good to make our run in 24. Obviously we're going for the division in 23 once Tom Brady retires. We're waiting on that to happen before we make our official division run. Because otherwise, you're looking at wild card at best, and that ain't going to get us nowhere. It's just not. You know this. You know the Panthers' history with the wild card spot. You know it's not going to happen. Okay, so let's be realistic about that. Let's be down and dirty real about that. Next year, depending on how much money we get from the league, that will determine, who do we have to cut, who do we have to get rid of, who do we have to move. And I would suggest trades, for draft picks, try to get some cash considerations out of it, get rid of some cap space is the main goal, and draft picks out of it next year. But, the main thing is, as long as we don't get rid of the core offensive line that we have right now, the starters, the guys in second string, third string, on down the line, are up for grabs. But the guys at the starting 5, we do not want those guys cut, moved, or traded at all in this next offseason to clear up cap space. Not at all. Build around it. This is a beautiful starting 5 right here, and I love it. Do not mess with it. Only add to it. So, with this 23 draft coming up, after the season's over, we'll be able to add to that offensive line. We'll be able to build it depth-wise. And we'll be even stronger for our run for the division title run in 23. So, the players that we don't want to see moved to clear up cap space are, number 1, the starting 5 on the offensive line. Number 2, Jeremy Chin. We don't want to see him moved. Number 3, J.C. Horn. We don't want to see him moved. Because that's going to cause a problem. And of course, DJ Moore. Obviously, we need to keep him. Everybody else, I think, it's a hit, but it's not that much of a hit. it only delays us from getting where we want to go. And they are replaceable. I do like Dante Jackson. I think Dante Jackson is a huge asset for us, and I would personally add him to the list. I know some people wouldn't, but notice whose name I did not put in that list. And I know y'all are going to bring that name up. Brian Burns. Now, here's the thing. We have been a player mill for a very, very long time. This is the typical reputation of the Carolina Panthers over the last 10 to 15 years, right? So, for me, the fact that he's getting this much attention means that's value that we can trade. We can get some valuable picks for that and replace that. And not have to spend a whole lot of money, plus save some cap space. Depending on his contract, I'll have to look at his contract. I don't know what it is right at the moment. But we'll look into that during this stream, of course. But yeah, that's the list of players we don't want gone. That's the start of the list. If there's anyone that you would like to add to it, throw it in chat. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, Robbie Anderson's gone. He's probably going to want to leave. And I have zero problem with that. I like the guy personally. Don't get me wrong. But this is business. This is moving the franchise forward. This is putting us into a position to continuously win. And building our roster up. And I mean not just stop at 1 year. Not just stop at 2 years. Continuously winning. We have a shot to do this. And this is our opening to be able to do this. With this trade. A lot of folks don't understand how big this trade is. And I'm trying to tell you. If we set ourselves up properly. With Scott Fitterer's moves right now. And his draft picks. We are on the way there. And all I'm asking is that people be a little more patient, and put your faith in Scott. That's all I'm asking, And I know it's a lot to ask right now because Panther fans are frustrated. They're angry, that we haven't been winning. But if you see the vision for the future that we have, and our opportunities in 23 and 24 and so forth past that, and let's not make them just to save money and make a business decision. Let's learn from our past. Let's keep building on it. Having a bunch of money and no players doesn't get us anywhere. I mean, that's the most foolish thing I've ever seen. Why would you do that? When you could sign these guys and re-sign these guys and keep winning. So we've got a real shot at this. And this trade right here gave me a lot of hope. And I hope it's giving you guys a lot of hope too. That we're getting there, So, with that being said, I think the next topic of discussion is well, I'm going to show you guys the roster. Hold up. You guys are going to love this. Because we finally have this man on our roster. There he is, folks. There he is. This is real, folks. For a 5th conditional. All he's got to do is pass the physical, and he will. Wow. Breaking out the big drink for this one. I don't know about y'all, but I'm breaking out the big drink. This is big. We just took a major step forward as a franchise today. in about a half dozen ways. It is time for a change. These Jets players are not getting it done for us. I don't even know why we went for Jets players in the first place. Man, but cheers to y'all, man, for riding through it with us. Y'all the real ones. Yes, sir. Now, I need to see Baker Mayfield in action to see who's going to win this quarterback competition in training camp. I'm not sure which one's going to win. I think it's going to be Baker. I'm pretty doggone sure it's going to be Baker. Bring to us. One, this man has a chip on his shoulder. I mean, a major chip on his shoulder and an axe to grind against the Browns. This is going to be nasty on week 1. It's going to be nasty. I'm just warning y'all right now. If you're a Browns fan, this ain't going to go well for you. Because I got a feeling that if Matt Rule is smart, he will start Baker Mayfield. Okay? If he is not smart, which we all know he is not, he's going to start Sam Darnold again. You know, either way, we're looking at about 6 or 7 wins, I think, even with Baker Mayfield in here for a 22 campaign, and that's okay. That is okay. That gets us a top 10 draft spot. That allows us to get more offensive linemen, build up that linebacker core, which we desperately need to do, and ensures that we get replacements for whoever we lose with that $30 million debt that we have. That's exactly what that does. Now, I know that's going to frustrate the fans. And that's, you know, that's unfortunate. Because, I mean, we're here now. You know? Our bad decisions have put us in this spot to where we have to figure out what we're doing. And we have made us reconsider what we want, what our goals are, why we are in this doghouse of a mess that we're in right now. How do we get out of it? So, this trade did exactly that. It got us out of that funk. It got us out of that. So now we're here. So now the question is, what's next? What's next? And I'm trying to find out if ESPN has officially put up... Did they put him in yet? Yep, there he is. He's in. Alright, so that's 4 quarterbacks. And the 5th is Hecker. If you count Hecker. Which I technically do. Now, why is this Robbie Anderson situation so important? Because he's going to want to leave. That means Terrace Marshall Jr. is the top dog in number 2 spot at wide receiver here, as far as our big dog wide receivers. Now, Terrace Marshall Jr.'s got a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to him lately, but this dude is talking a big game, saying he's going to step up and get some stuff done. And I believe him. If you've been watching him at LSU before he even came here, there's a lot of doubters saying that this man was a bad pick. You know, why did we do this trade to get Terrace Marshall Jr.? I'm gonna tell you something. Watch him during training camp, and you're about to find out why. Because this man is motivated now. He sees his opportunity. He knows that Robbie is frustrated. He knows that Robbie is potentially wanting to leave. So he said, you know what? I'm going to keep my nose to the grindstone. I'm going to work. I'm going to let people know. This is what I'm going to do in 2022. Y'all don't like it? Be the haters that you are. You know? But he's about to step up and he's about to ball out. And frankly, he has earned his chance to do so. You know, with Robbie having a terrible year. And I'm very happy with Zalstra as well. I like him. I think yeah, I got to see a little more of Higgins to find out what we're looking at there. Shi Smith is still in trouble with the law. We'll check out Rambo as well. I've been hearing good things about Rambo. But overall, you know, it's not a bad wide receiver core. It's just we could improve on it. You know what I mean? So I think maybe one more wide receiver in the 23 draft would be a positive for us, and help us out there. You know, big name, probably 4th round or so. We'll try to get somebody. But, you know, once we've filled all our other big needs. But as of right now, I like where we're heading. This is big. We do not want to split up that Austin Corbett, Bozeman, Akeem, and Brady Christensen group here. I think that's really good. If we can get that going, you know, and keep these guys healthy through 75% of the year, we're really in the money. That's the trick, though. You got to keep these guys healthy. We've had a horrible history of like injuries and just not being able to keep guys on the field. And it's such a shame because these guys are so talented, you know, that we bring in here. But they start out that way and then they get injured and it's just downhill spiral from there. But you know, Shaq's getting some praise. Brian Burns is getting some praise lately. And frankly, Unitas is the answer that we've been looking for at defensive tackle. Because we've been having some rough times with defensive tackle in the last few years. Particularly in the second half of last year. I think that may be what we're looking for there. I'm a little concerned that Woods may be one of the ones that gets cut next year because of cap reasons. Not because of his talent, but because of cap reasons. So, I mean, let's hope we can keep as many of these talented guys as we can. We got Shi Smith on punt return. That's probably going to be DJ now. Depending on what happens with Shi Smith with the law in the courts. But overall, you know, I'm pretty happy with this roster. It's going to be a nasty group if we can keep them together in 23 and 24, plus whoever we add. So, there's a lot of talk about this trade. Where is it? I was trying to find. Okay, reload. Gotcha. I don't want to watch that. What I was looking for was there was a video of where somebody wasn't happy about this trade, and I want to see what they had to say about it. You know, because this is a big. There it is. Okay, Bart Scott doesn't like the trade. Let's see what he has to say. I want to listen to this. He may make some good points. He may not. We might learn something, though. Let's see what he's got for us. It's being a little bit wacky right now. Hold on. Tech issues?
I mean, we'll see. I mean,
there we go.
That's two top quarterbacks taken in that draft. That's $36 million. You got $36 million invested in your quarterback position, and you don't have one quarterback. You ask me, is this a great position to be in? You're spending $36 million on your quarterback this year, and we don't know if either one of them can even play in this league. Clearly, the Panthers are in that mode of we're just going to see who emerges. Maybe Baker will have like this revenge tour where he's just feeling, jilted, and he'll play great, and then we can either keep him or trade him, or he'll just walk. I guess is really what he'd do. Okay, but if you're Sam Darnold, you don't make this trade and then say Sam's going to be our quarterback. That ain't happening.
All right, so what we learned from that is, he thinks that's a bad trade for the Browns. He's not saying it's a bad trade for us. He's saying it's a bad trade for the Browns. And I agree. Because of the fact that the Browns are really in a bad spot right now. They've got to figure out what they're doing. I think Nesbitt is going to be their quarterback now. Is that correct? Nesbitt? You don't get Watson. You don't get Baker Mayfield. And now you're down to Nesbitt in Cleveland. Yikes. Plus, you have to pay half of Baker Mayfield's salary just to get rid of him? I mean, Cleveland, what are we doing here? That's got to be one of the dumbest trades Cleveland's made in a while. I got to be honest. And it's one of the best trades we've ever made. And it ranks right up there with that Greg Olsen trade from back in the day. You guys remember Greg Olsen? When he was with Chicago? I was watching this dude before he even came to Carolina. I knew he was a future Pro Bowler. I knew it. I lost count of how many actual drives that Greg Olsen has saved and kept going for us over the years. And I don't remember exactly what that trade entailed, but all I can tell you is the Bears absolutely got screwed. We got the better end of it. By far. By miles and a half. So, we're looking at another situation here where, you know, Seattle was in the running for Baker, and they got screwed over as well. This is just the perfect scenario. If you wanted Baker in Carolina, this is the perfect scenario for it to happen. And, you know, that fifth conditional is not going to kill us. If you go back and look at what we got in the fifth rounds over the last 2-3 years, you know, even going back into the Marty days, we still looked. It was still experimental. You know, it was like, okay, well, we're adding depth here and there in the fifth round, but you're not expecting to see much down there because all the big stars are gone after the fourth. So now it's just whatever's left in the fifth, sixth, and seventh, right? You know, you get some B plus guys in the fourth. You get some B grade guys in the fifth. B minus guys in the sixth. And then from down. And your seventh round is just experimental. You know, that's where you get your punters, your kickers, stuff like that. You know, an extra wide receiver or something to add to the roster to fill out your 90. But that's why this doesn't hurt us. Especially since this is 2 years down the road, fifth round draft pick. Conditional. I read somewhere where somebody was saying it could turn into a fourth. Is that true? Is that how this is going to work? Because I'm not entirely sure what the conditions are with this. That's what I didn't see yet. But, I mean, I love every other aspect of this. Because the money was the biggest thing for me because of the 30 mil that we're in the red by next year. We cover that, we're golden. That's golden. It's beautiful. What's up, Ronnie? Shout out to you. How you doing, man? But hey, man, I love this. There's so much that we can gain from this. With Baker's chip on his shoulder, that's going to motivate the entire locker room. You know, that's going to light a fire in these guys. Not that DJ Moore needs it. Dude's been putting up 1,000-yard seasons every year. But everybody else, oh yeah. Plus those offensive linemen that just won a Super Bowl. Man, please. That's going to be beautiful. So that's what we're looking at here with this trade. And it's going to go completely under the radar. You know? Because everybody's going to say, oh, well, Baker Mayfield is just Sam Darnold 2.0. Or, oh, Baker Mayfield is just going to choke. You know, just like he did in Cleveland. Hold up now. Baker Mayfield won a playoff game. And he didn't just win a playoff game. He won the playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been running the Browns into the ground for the past 30 years. Think about that. Before you start tossing bricks at the Cleveland Browns right now. Before you start throwing bricks at Baker Mayfield before he even sets foot on this field, remember that. And I mean, that wasn't just a win. That was a blowout. He slaughtered them. And I was just like, yes. 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 I was waiting on that to happen for so long. I was like, the Browns have been putting up so many L's against Pittsburgh over the years. And here comes Baker Mayfield out of nowhere. 40 plus points on these guys. 40 plus points. And we're talking about a Pittsburgh team that their defense has been struggling over the past few years. But during that particular playoff run, they were doing okay. You know, so you can't use the excuse of, oh, the Steelers' defense was bad. No. We're not going to entertain that one. Because it's just not so. So, you know, for me, that was the Browns' Super Bowl. Really. Because they have just been absolutely run over by the Steelers, franchise-wise, rivalry-wise, and history-wise. It's been so disgusting to watch, you know, if you're a Browns fan. But they come back. Baker has one good year with them record-wise. You know, if you're just talking record-wise, yes, one good year. The rest of the years they did not build around him. So yes, Cleveland did struggle. That's not going to happen here. We have Scott Fitterer here in Carolina. Remember that, folks. Scott is building for the future. He is constantly building. Every move that he makes, he is constantly building. These are the building blocks for the 23 and 24 run. Everything that he's doing now. We will be ready when Tom retires. And there is no excuse for it if we don't. If we aren't. No excuse whatsoever. We may get some push from the Saints in 23, but probably not in 24. And the reason I say that is because the Saints will likely start to degrade and lose their weapons gradually over a period of 3 years. All the ones that Breeze was working with, you know, that's... You're going to start to see them all start to run. Because they know New Orleans is not going to do anything. And that's when we have complete control over the division for at least 3 years. Until you see some good coaches come to the South and draft well and well. Until that time, 23, 24, and 25 should be ours. Should be. I'm not going to guarantee that. It'll depend on our schedule. It'll depend on what the rest of the division does. But I can tell you this, we won't be doing with Tom Brady after that. Which is a major, major plus for us. That's the last major wall in our way to get in this division back. Except for the walls that we build ourselves to hold ourselves back. So, as of right now, if we can keep building the way we are, and that 30 mil cap space in the red doesn't cost us too many players that we can't replace, you know, and slow us down, the only thing left would be Matt Rule. That's the only thing left. Can you imagine what we could possibly do with a starting 5 offensive line that gives Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Matt Barclay, Matt Corral, my bad. Matt Corral. I don't know why I was thinking of that. Trojans, right? Back in the day. Can you imagine what we could do with a starting 5 that could last us 75% of the year and not be injured with these quarterbacks? That would be a lot of fun, right? once we get rid of Tom Brady out of Tampa Bay, we're looking at 9 wins, possibly 10, in 23 and 24. That's the starting recipe for a continual winner. If we build correctly and we take off the training wheels. Mr. Tepper, I am begging you, please. Scott is tired of the training wheels of Matt Rule holding him back. He's tired of it. It's time to take him off. He doesn't need him anymore. This man is ready to soar as our GM. He's already doing it with this trade right here. He's already doing it, folks. He's been doing it for an entire year. And anyone that hasn't noticed it has clearly not noticed it. and not been paying enough attention. For all the naysayers, I question what they're even looking at this point. I know a lot of them have tunnel vision on the record, on our overall record, and they're only focused on 1 year at a time. And if you want to continue a winner, you can't think like that. You got to take steps ahead of what you're looking at. Look towards the future. Look at the whole picture going forward. This is how this is going to affect this. This is how this is going to affect this. And this is what the end of the road looks like at the end of that domino set. Right? That's what we're going to do this stream, is to properly explain all the dominoes that are going to fall because of this trade right here. And what that looks like at the end of the road. We can explore a few different scenarios of what could happen. And right now, we'll take a look at all of those scenarios where the offensive line stays healthy 75% of the year. The starting 5. I'm not talking about the second string. I'm not talking about the third string. I'm not talking about the fourth string. I'm talking about the starting 5. If we can keep them on the field 75% of the year, and we only focus on what... well, you do have to look at the second stringers. You do have a lot of sub-ins, depending on packages and stuff like that. That's a good point. I appreciate it, Ronnie. Also, shout out to Twerma and Josh Hart. But we're going to run through those scenarios with the starting 5 healthy and the second stringers as healthy as possible. Now, if you start with Sam Darnold as quarterback under that scenario for the next 3 years, say, right? We're only looking at 3 years, 3-year timeline. So, you look at the schedule that we have this year. We're not really doing anything. And I think it's going to be much the same with Baker Mayfield under center. Throwing. But probably 6 to 7 wins this year. Which is fine, because that puts us in the top 10 of drafting again. And helps us out, to build depth and get the pieces that we need to replace what we're going to lose. To get rid of that $30 million cap debt. Now, we can't predict what the free agent pool is going to do. We can't predict with right now. And let's assume Sam plays okay, and we end up with 6 or 7 wins. Matt Rule gets fired. We bring in a coach that knows what he's doing, and we continue to build under Scott Fitterer. So, same with Baker in 2022. I think it's going to be the same scenario with either one of them in 2022. And Matt as well. any of the three of them that you bring in, it's going to be the same scenario. It's going to be the same result. 6 to 7 wins. That's okay. You're willing to sacrifice 1 year, to prepare for a continual run of winning seasons, right? So, 2023 rolls around. We got our depth on our offensive line. We got some linebackers back there to help out Shaq and Luvu. And, we make our division title run. We get 9 to 10 wins, possibly, depending on the schedule. We haven't seen the schedule yet, so we can't predict that, right? But let's say for argument's sake, 9 to 10 wins, like we were getting before, when we were winning the division, right? And the schedule was favorable. And yes, good point, Ronnie. We need to factor in the offensive coordinator as well. Let's say Ben McAdoo does well, right? Let's say McAdoo does well, and we have a decent offense going forward into 2023. However McAdoo does in 2022 doesn't really matter because he's setting up the offense, to prepare for more building in the draft and free agency in at the end of this year. So that doesn't matter in the big scope of things. You're setting up the offense, right? This year is a setup for what's coming forward, regardless of what happens. So, 2024 rolls around. We got most of these pieces still around, plus whoever we draft and free agents pool helps us out. We've got money in 2024, minus the 5th round conditional pick for Baker Mayfield, which doesn't hurt us in the long run, unless it turns into a 4th, which I'm not sure how that works. I'm not even sure that's a thing. I think it just stays 5th round, as far as I know. If somebody knows more about that, please let me know, because I did read that comment, and I was like, that's a little, I don't know. But let's assume it stays a 5th, right? So minus a 5th, doesn't hurt us. We go on a big 10, 12 game win season, make a run at the playoffs. This is what we're looking at, folks. This is the setup. All we got to do is just keep building. That's it. That's all we got to do. We got to keep building. We got to get rid of Matt Rule and take the training wheels off. Stay healthy. Build some depth. And we're there. One more. If you're willing to sacrifice one more year in that hunt for a continual winner, then you will start to see results next year in 2023. You will undoubtedly see results. Assuming we don't make any stupid moves, which the management has had a history of doing. But with Scott Fitter under GM right now, I don't think that's going to happen. If Matt Rule gets fired, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we finally break the cycle. I think it happens. And it's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for that for a while. And how many of you are frustrated with chasing the rabbit down the hole, not getting any results? The rabbit comes out, and then jumps back down the hole every year. That's exactly what we're doing. It's like Elmer Fudd chasing Bugs Bunny. It's exactly what it is. And it's been year after year of this. And we're finally getting to the point where we're sick and tired of it. And I think Scott Fitter is going to be the answer to that problem. To where we finally break the cycle. Number 1 pick each round. I don't think we're going to get number 1 pick each round. But I think top 10 would be a definite positive for us. 6 to 7 wins this year will get us that again, which is exactly what we want, because we'll be in perfect position to get these offensive linemen that we really, really need. Like, say, for example, Brady Christensen or Deontay Brown. Players like that could set us up for the future. If we develop them correctly. So top 10 is exactly what we want this year. To continue that development. And that rebuild. With the schedule going the way it is, even if we do have a shot at that 7th win, I don't think we should try to take it. It's not going to get us anywhere. So let's settle for 6. I'm okay with that. 6 is our ceiling. Happy with that. That's the goal right now. I mean, if you want to win the 7th, that could cost us a player. I mean, we've seen it happen a couple of times. When we went for that win over Washington in a revenge game over Ron Rivera, that cost us the Oregon offensive lineman a couple of years ago. And then this time around, we won a game that we shouldn't have as kind of a revenge game, and it cost us, again, a shot at a top 5 player. We got lucky this year, and got what we needed, but, that was on everybody's draft board with Akeem. But who knows? You win one more game, we don't get Akeem. That's how tedious this is. People don't understand the impact from the season into the draft. One win or loss could cost you a very valuable player that you really need as a center block for your building process. And that's why I was so frustrated when the Lions took that Oregon tackle. And they're not even using him correctly. I was so frustrated with that. And I still am. Like, he could have been ours. We were clearly targeting him. If we had just taken that L against Washington, we would have had him. He would be in Carolina in a uniform right now. I'm not saying we're playing to lose. I'm saying we're playing to win a player. That's the better way to look at it. And I know a lot of people are going to be trying to throw out that argument of, oh, you're playing to lose. No, you're not. That's how the NFL draft is set up. It's a lack of understanding of how the draft is set up. You don't have that type of system with the NBA. You don't have that type of system with the NHL. This is how we do things in the NFL. And if you don't like the system, change it. That's what I say to people, But as far as we know, Baker is not injured. He's still got to pass that physical. Yeah, we're not paying a coach to lose. No. We're paying a coach to do the best he can with what he's got right now. And I mean, that's the scenario we're in with the Panthers. We're paying Matt Rule to do the best he can with what he's got. I mean, it's not fun. It's not spectacular in 2022. You're not going to get very many results, but Matt Rule is not the type of coach that we need anyway. So, Bills did it to get the services of a player. I mean, I guess so. Which player did they try to get? That's the question I've got. Okay, so it depends on what they decided on. Number of games Baker plays and performance are things that typically factor in the pick involving or not. That's true. Yeah, depending on how many games we start a winning quarterback like Baker, will determine what we're looking at draft-wise. Say we start Darnold and we're not happy with him after about 5 games, and then we start Baker to finish the rest of the year. End of the day, it's still the same equation. We're still looking at 6 to 7 wins. You see my point? We're not going to be able to balance the scale with the trade, which is fine. That's not the goal here. The goal is to set ourselves up for 23 and 24 to where we can use that trade to balance the scales and start winning. You said defensive end. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, Ronnie. I didn't see any articles or anything about that, so I'm not sure. Good question, though. I'll look into that. But yeah, if you know you're not going anywhere, it doesn't matter who you start. It really, really doesn't. Because, let's look at this schedule. This schedule's a train wreck. From start to bottom. And I'm not sure if we're doing any joint practices with New England or Buffalo. I don't know. If we do, then I will definitely be out there for those. For sure. Alright, so you're starting out with the Browns, right? Baker Mayfield starts. He gets his revenge game. Awesome. You get a win over the Giants. That's 2-0. And the Saints. Okay. Could be a win. Could be a win. Arizona Cardinals, this is where we start getting in trouble. Because the Cardinals are more dangerous than everybody thinks they are. They got a lot of tougher players on that team that really manhandled us in past years, but not last year. But I think they're going to want some revenge after that game last year. That may not be a fun one to watch. Niners. I'm not going to say anything as far as that game is concerned because I'm not sure how many people know the history of what happened with their fan base in my comment section. I'm not going to get in, but let's just say it wasn't fun when we took that L to the Niners when they went on that huge run. Week 6 against the Rams, that's a loss. That's a loss. That's a straight up loss. I'm sorry, that's a loss. You're not going to convince me of other... You can't convince me. Buccaneers, you got Tom Brady rolling into town, and that's a loss. Falcons, we get a win in the Dome finally. Again. Matt Ryan's not there anymore. We don't have to deal with him. I'm not scared of any quarterback they bring in now in Atlanta. I'm not scared of them. Matt Ryan I was, but I'm not scared of the rest of them. Because of how accurate and how dangerous Matt Ryan is when he gets into a rhythm, that's why I was afraid of Matt Ryan. But now, no. We got the defensive weaponry to handle any quarterback that they throw at us in Atlanta. Cincinnati Bengals, that's a loss. Depending on how many players they lost after last year, I don't think it was too many. So that's going to be a rough game in Cincinnati there. That should come out to an L. Falcons roll into our stadium. I think we could take that one. I think we can. Pretty sure we can. Baltimore, you got them week 11. You hit Baltimore in their stadium before they start their big playoff run. That's the key. You got to hit Baltimore before they start their playoff run, because once they start their playoff run, they are scary. That is a terrifying playoff team right there to face in their stadium. Past week 14, oh yeah, you don't want them. You don't want them. Not even the Steelers want them. And that's saying something. Steelers don't want them. Chiefs don't want them. Oakland don't want them. That's a terrifying team. Every once in a while, they knock somebody off. They start out in wild card and they knock somebody off. So, alright, Denver Broncos. Nobody's really scared of Denver at this point. Bye week. Those 2 weeks are kind of healing weeks for us. The Denver game in week 13. Seattle could be winnable. And this is the one I'm saying that we should probably let Seattle just take over. Since it's a 50-50 game, I think let Seattle take that one and let us slide back into that 6-win column so we can get a top 10 spot in the draft. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been wishy-washy, man. I don't know what to expect from them. Let's keep an eye on them throughout the next year and just see how they're doing. By about probably week 6, we'll have a pretty good idea of who Pittsburgh is and kind of what to expect. Because we'll start to see some patterns develop. I really, really respect Mike Tomlin as a coach, though, and I think, that could be a very interesting game. Detroit's awful. That's a win. Tampa Bay, we got Tom Brady coming in. Back to Tampa for that game, and that should be an L. You're not going to beat Tom Brady in Tampa. It's just not going to happen. With the weapons that he's been building around there. New Orleans. In the Superdome. We have a bad history of losing in that Superdome. Very bad history. So, even without Breeze, that's going to be tough sledding for that last game. I don't know. This is going to be a wild one, man. I mean, Ronnie, you got a good point any given week. But that is true. Any given week. I mean, we saw Brady go scoreless last year. So, anything can happen. Honestly. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals come from the very bottom of the league and get up to the Super Bowl. So, you just don't know. Yeah, I hate to say it, but roll over a point dead is probably the proper strategy for 22, and just keep building. I hate saying that, but it is what we have to do, I'm willing to sacrifice 22 to do that. I don't know about y'all, but I'm willing to do it. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. It's not going to be an easy thing to swallow as Panther fans. They're going to get angrier. And you can't really blame them. But we got to direct those frustrations towards Matt Rule and try to get him out of Carolina. That's the goal, I think, for this year is try to get a better coach through here that will continue that building process and not deconstruct it. Yeah, defense is looking good. We built up a pretty strong defense. Yeah, that's a major one. Don't turn the ball over. We've had a bad history of that, and we need to work on that. Yeah, I think the Panthers fans will, as a whole Panthers family, I think we can all live with it if we see the vision that's going to unfold. And I know the followers on Facebook here, the crew here, on YouTube as well, sees the vision. They understand what we're doing with here. Y'all get it, We all understand what we're trying to do here. That's why we're all just like, okay, I'm willing to swallow 22 to move forward and build a winner. But the rest of the majority of the fan base, you're going to see a lot of it in these Facebook group pages. You're going to see a lot of it on the official pages. There's going to be a lot of anger on those pages with another 6-win season. And again, we need to redirect that frustration towards Matt Rule. Not towards the players, not towards Scott Fitterer, especially not towards Scott Fitterer. We need to direct it towards Matt Rule so that we can get him out and get a better coach. That's the goal here, I think, as a crew. If we... And we have a lot of influence in the fan base, I believe. We got a small crew here, but we got a pretty good influence, and I think we could do it. As much as I don't like seeing infighting within this fan base, as a whole, it's something we got to do. 23, we changed the way of thinking now? Yeah, absolutely. I think 23 is where we start to see the results and the fruit of our labors. We're not going to see it much this year except for the development of players and the development of the roster. As frustrating as that's going to be, one season's worth. I could put up with it. For the goal of seeing 20, 23, 24, 25 continual winner until we get to that doggone Super Bowl and we win it finally. We have been waiting so long and been so patient as a fan base. It is far beyond time we get rewarded for our efforts. You know what I mean? That's the day we break out the bottles, man. And we have that parade on Charlotte. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, y'all. Just be patient. Just a little longer. Put your faith in Scott Fitterer. He's done so many good things for us. So many. This trade included. I mean, what more do you want with this trade? What more? What more could you ask for? with this trade. I mean, it just hit a home run in every single aspect. We're only paying half of his salary, for goodness sakes. That's cheaper than Cam Newton. Had we signed him for the entire year. You know, what did I say? $8 million for Cam Newton for 1 year? And that's if you start him for the entire year? No. We paid Baker Mayfield $5 million. Is that correct? Is that correct? $5 million? Anybody confirm that? If it is $5 million, we just saved ourselves $3 million that we don't have to pay. That we can put towards that $30 million debt next year. That's a beautiful thing right there. That's a very beautiful thing. I already found like $2 million that we could cut right now. You know, just in the last few streams off this roster. You know, that equals the same amount we would have been paying Cam Newton. Think about that. Think about that, folks. That's big. That's real big. And you're getting more out of Baker Mayfield. He's actually won a playoff game recently. And no offense to the Cam supporters out there, but, you know, Cam is slightly in the decline in his career. As much as we don't want to admit it, he is. And I love the guy to death. I do. But if we can save $3 million and get to a playoff game in 2023, wouldn't you guys like to do that? Come on. I mean, this is $3 million to me is chump change in exchange for that. Man. I'll do that any day of the week to see this franchise move forward. I'll do it. You know, and I think if you're in a business position and you know that you can do better than what you have, and it only costs you $3 million, you could save $3 million instead. Y'all, just imagine if you're running a business and you can cut costs on something that you know you can improve on just even a tiny bit. You could save $3 million. Think about that. You'd do that in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? See, that's where we are. And I'm very excited. I'm very pleased on that level that we decided to go for Baker. And Scott had a vision, okay? He sees what we're looking at right now in 2023 and 2024 and going forward. He sees the vision. He knows we're not going to get there with a Cam Newton, you know, for $8 million for 1 year. He's not looking at 1 year. He's looking at 3 years. And he's saying, okay, how does one decision with our franchise affect us 3 years down the road? How does that domino effect hit us 3 years down the road and cost us in the cap room? How does that cost us in the one loss column? How does that cost us in team chemistry? And there's so many others that you could put into that category that makes so much sense, that properly explain that visionary idea that Scott has. And he knows that it's going to cost us Robbie Anderson. He knows it's going to cost us Sam Darnold. He knows it's going to cost us a few players, you know, that may or may not be movable next year. And he says, okay, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do this on one condition, that you guys pay half of his salary. Done. I mean, is that not magical or what? Come on. Scott's a trading wizard. I love it. I love it. I mean, you saw what he did with the draft last year. You saw what he did with the draft before that. Come on. Come on. And you know that trade that we executed to get Terrace Marshall Jr.? When Robbie leaves, that's when that trade is about to pay off for us. And think about that. We got him, what, 4th, 5th round? Here we go. Terrace Marshall Jr. is ready. I got full faith in this dude. He's ready. I've been watching him. I've been watching his confidence grow. I've been watching his skills grow each year. And I'm like, this dude is ready. He's ready for a leadership role. He's ready to take that wide receiver core to the next level with DJ. He just needs a couple more pieces, man. You know? He just needs a couple more pieces. Like I said, I don't think it would hurt to draft a wide receiver next year. You know, just do it 4th, 5th round maybe. You know, once you've... Well, we'll talk about that, you know, when we get to that bridge, right? We'll get there. Right now, we got to figure out what we're keeping, what we're not, you know, this year. Then we'll start looking at that a little bit more. I mean, way too early look at it, but we could do it. And I think it would be a wise idea for us to start looking at the draft picks a little earlier, about halfway through the season, and act like we have a top 10 pick. I think that would be the smart strategy right now. Let's just get ahead of the game, you know? Because the last 2 seasons we've been sitting on the entire month of March just preparing. You know, late February and March, we started prepping for these drafts. And I think diving into these players a little earlier and really, really knowing what should be on our draft board versus what's going to actually be there in April would be a very, very positive thing. Positioning wise, we could be sitting anywhere in between 5 and 15. That's what we're looking at. It all depends on the win-loss. But typically when I call a record like this early, it's typically pretty close to the actual thing once we finish the season. So I'm just hoping that everything goes according to plan and we don't stray from it. If we do stray from it, it's going to be Matt Rule. Appreciate you, Ronnie. Absolutely, this trade works, man. And we got to fill those stands, man. We got to put some people out there that... And I think that's what we did with this offensive line and the players we acquired in free agency. That's exactly what happened there. Is we were trying to fill the stands. These guys were on the Super Bowl team. But I don't think that's all we're trying to do. You know, that wasn't the number one goal. Yeah, you could fill the stands. But you know, if you're not winning, they're not going to stay. So you got to have players of high caliber to do that. So you accomplish both goals by getting the offensive alignment that we did. You build, you fill the stands, you fill the roster, you fill it with talent, and people will stay. Once they start seeing results in 23, they will stay. You'll start seeing those stands start fill up like they used to. You'll start seeing jersey sales go through the roof again. Most likely Jeremy Chan, most likely JC Horn, probably DJ Moore. Christian McCaffrey jerseys will go up. I mean, we'll see as far as the rest of them, but you definitely expect those four to go up. You know? People don't just leave after the third quarter when it's a 50-50 game, you know what I mean? When you know you got good players on the field, you got good starters on the field, they're healthy, they're playing well, fans will stick. And that's what we want. People have been complaining so much about the fact that we've got too many Falcons fans or too many... That's how you solve it. Build the team correctly, win, play well, play disciplined football, don't be dumb, and watch the stands fill up again with black and blue. It's that simple. That's how you solve the problem. You don't solve it by, we'll just hope that the next game is going to be a win. We'll just hope that next season will be better. That's Ron Rivera excuses. You know what I'm saying? That is Ron Rivera excuses. Are we not done with that era yet? In thinking? In this franchise? Didn't we leave that behind when we fired the man? I would like to think so. You know, it's going to be a very, very interesting year. We've had enough going on in this offseason that it's been worth doing streams and videos and stuff. I've mostly stuck to streams because they're a lot easier to do. But I love the Matt Corral pick, man. I love it. We got our linebacker, you know. We got two linebackers, as a matter of fact. And Barno's a run stopper. Cade Mays, I mean, we filled in every gap that we were looking for. That's why I was so very happy with the last. I thought we nailed it. We filled what we wanted. And you can tell on the roster, you can tell when you see it on the field. You'll be able to tell in training camp when I do these videos. Speaking of which, we're going to shift the conversation to training camp, as a matter of fact. Speaking of Ron Rivera, taking care of McLaurin's contract was a priority. Okay. Terry McLaurin got an extension. Okay. Eddie Goldman, last Chicago Bears player to sign with the Falcons. Okay. I'm just kind of keeping up with what's going on there. But this roster is going to be pretty nasty if we can kind of keep it together. And Icky may just be the guy that we need to light the fire in this locker room finally. You know, Baker may be the player that we need to light the fire in these guys and motivate them again. And especially these Pro Bowl offensive linemen. You know what I mean? Like, 2 of them have been in the Super Bowl and just won a ring. What more do you want? Use that as fire. Use that motivation. Let that fuel you through training camp, through preseason. Let it continuously fuel you. That's what we want. I want us to get back to those days in 2014 and 15 where everybody was just, you know. God, these guys were so motivated every single play that they came out there. They were so disciplined. They were so focused that you couldn't. They were so determined. You couldn't move them. And that's what I'm looking for. We want to return to that. It's these types of players like Baker Mayfield that's got a chip on his shoulder. Like Icky, that's coming in here that's willing to work every play and not give up. And feels like if he fails, he's going to let his teammates down and he won't even be able to look at him. See, that's the type of players we need. Whether it be drafted or free agency. That's the players that's going to help us turn the corner with this franchise. That's what we want. You know, we got to get rid of that toxicness. Those Robbie Anderson comments, you know, the stuff again where, you know, come on. Get rid of the toxicness. It's time. It's beyond time. This Panthers franchise has been waiting a long, long time to turn the corner. I mean, you look at Jacksonville, they finally got Trevor Lawrence and Etienne healthy again. Are we going to let Jacksonville turn the corner before we do? When we were basically on the same level with them for years? Is this what we're going to do? It's time. It's time for a new chapter in Panthers history. It starts right now, and it starts with this trade. That's why I'm celebrating. I am absolutely celebrating. That being said, any players that you guys want to talk about, any topics, throw them in chat. Let's talk about them. Open topics right now. I'm here for it. Any questions that you have, anything like that. If you've been paying attention to the Facebook feed, I've been throwing out a lot of different stuff here. Excuse this message real quick. But here's this thing about DJ Moore. And I'm just so excited to post something positive for once, you know, regarding this team. That's the biggest thing for me. I've seen so much negative. There's so many negative Nancy's in this fan base. Finally, we get to say something positive. And I kind of wanted to go through this for a second. And yes, he is talking about the growth of Sam Darnold, but still, that's something positive. Every time you see something from DJ, it's either, okay, I want to improve on this, or I'm going to say something positive about my teammates. You never see anything negative from this man. Never. Never saw anything negative come out of Greg Olson's mouth. You never saw anything negative come out of Luke Kuechly's mouth. You never saw anything negative come out of Thomas Davis's mouth back in the day. I mean, it was just all positive. They uplifted. And that's the type of players we need. That's the type of positivity we need. You know? And that raises the team chemistry. It helps them to work together better. DJ says, I could already see the growth in him already from the OTAs. Everything has been hectic this offseason for him in the news with all the quarterbacks moving around and just the way he handled it. He was talking to everybody just so poised. That's true. He was poised. I will give him that. Even though I did kind of throw him under the bus a little bit for a couple of those comments, but, you know, he was poised. I give him that. DJ's got a point. And then he came in and he got to learn the new offense and he took it head on. That's true too. He did. Darnold's coming off a season where he completed just under 60% of his passes. He goes on to say his completion percentage was between 65 and 69 in all of those games, with their only loss coming against Dallas in Week 4. That's the consistency we need. Yes, I agree with that. But you have to consider who we played. You know what I mean? You got to consider who we played. Let's look at that schedule one more time for last year. And I'll show you exactly what we played. And I'll show you why we got these wins. New York Jets. Come on. Win? Come on. We got the Saints off guard completely. And beat them 26-7. Houston Texans were dismantling and not doing well at all. You know, after J.J. Watt left them, you know, everything just fell apart in Houston. And we won 24-9. So, I mean, you expected Sam Darnold to play well against his former Jets team. You expected him to play well against the Saints team that was completely caught off guard, that just acted like they didn't even want to be in the building. You know, and then you got the Houston Texans there that were just awful. I mean, with their defensive leader gone, there goes the Texans, you know? You got nothing. You maybe have Clowney out there, but that's about it. And I think even Clowney left. So there you go. So anyone saying that that's an inflated number. The 65% to 69% is an inflated number compared to all the other tougher games, you know, like Dallas, you know, Eagles, Vikings, Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Bucks. You know, that's inflated numbers, these first three. That's what I was trying to explain to people, and they weren't buying it. You know, in some of these Facebook groups. They weren't buying it at all. They thought, oh, we're going to go 15-0 again. It's like, no. No. Slow your jelly roll. I've seen this happen before. We've seen this movie before. Haven't we? Haven't we, folks? Come on, now. So, DJ goes on to say, I feel like it's a better structure for us going in this year than previous years. Talking about Ben McAdoo's offense. I can tell you a little something like the offense was way better than previous years, so we have a lot of upgraded weapons and calls that will help us out this year. See, that's all positiveness. Look at this. Couldn't we use a lot more positiveness in the world today with everything else going on? All this negative toxicity and garbage? Come on. I don't know about y'all, but I want some positiveness. So let me go through the news here on the Facebook page in case people missed it on YouTube. I have no idea what in the... Stop messing with my page. Alright, there we go. So FanFest, that's gonna be $5. Tickets do go on sale on the 13th. If you'd like to join me and represent the channel and the page, please let me know before the 12th. You know, private message me or throw it in a comment section or the chat. The best way to get me to notice it is private message or the comment section on the Facebook group page, because I will see it. It may take me a day or so, but I will see it. But I will be checking on that post specifically to make sure. So if you want to throw it in here, go ahead and throw it in this post here about the FanFest. As far as training camp days, I am scheduling right now. I'm waiting on 2 more people to let me know what days they want to be scheduled for my training camp days that I'm going to be there. And then I'm going to release I'm going to let people know, you know, these are the dates that are for one of those training camp days. I'd love to have you and meet up with you. So, you know, just don't interrupt while I'm filming and you're good to go. And I may even put you in one of my videos. So, just let me know. But yeah, the best way to do that is, again, drop a comment on the Facebook group page somewhere. I'll see it. Or in private chat is fine too. Or a comment section of one of the YouTube videos. I probably will be watching the Facebook page more so than the rest. So I would recommend that. But that's where we stand there. And then once we hit a certain point, about probably a week before training camp starts, I'll release my official dates of when I'm going to be there and when you can meet me. Once I get those properly scheduled and set up. Was there anything else I wanted to cover? Before I turn it over to the chat and we have open discussion. Oh, Luke Eakley is going to rejoin the radio broadcast booth as a Panthers radio broadcaster. So that's amazing. I'm really, really happy about that. And, of course, we would love to have him as a linebacker coach, but, you know, I'll take radio announcer. That's fine, too. Whatever he feels comfortable with, we'll roll with it, you know. It's still knowledge, you know, that we're after, and he's got plenty of it. So, any way that you can help us out and share that knowledge with us as Panthers fans, I will certainly be listening. Most definitely. In fact, I'm tempted to turn down the Fox announcers during these games and turn up the Panthers radio announcers so we can get some info. You know, if Luke's in there in the booth, that would be a lot of fun to listen to. Especially for the people that join me on Zoom during those games. You guys could probably get a lot out of it. So, I'll see what I can do there. We'll see what happens. Like I say, he may be just appearing for select games, or maybe the whole season. I'm not sure. But I know Steve Smith was there for the preseason games last year, so no word on who's going to be there this year for preseason, if they do anything. But yes, Fan Day, we are going to be buying tickets as a group. That's the reason I want everybody to comment and contact me directly about, you know, that way you guys can hang out with me, talk to me, you know, when I'm not filming and this and that, you know. You know, if you guys have questions, topics that you want to discuss, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? We would all watch the fireworks together. I think that would be a lot of fun. And, you know, you see all these different YouTubers and people in the fan base representing their separate groups and stuff. Like, you know, like the Roaring Riot, you know, and the Cat people for the Mad Cata, you know, squad. You know, they all get together and they just have this group together and represent themselves for their channel or their page or whatever it is that they do. You know, and that's awesome, dude. You know, I want to do that with our group. You know, we got enough people, I think, because pretty much everybody I've talked to goes to these Fan Day events every year. So that's why I want to see if we can get seats together, you know, before the tickets go on sale. Just group up together and figure out what we're doing, where we want to sit, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And I'll create like a group thing for it so that we can all discuss that. See, I love that right there. Get your popcorn ready. That's Carol, my YouTube partner. She's already getting jacked up. Look at this. That's awesome. That's beautiful right there. I will definitely be at FanFest. I will definitely be at July 30th, the Back Together Saturday. So those two are locks. Now, as far as if we're practicing against anybody, that will probably happen around maybe the 9th and 10th, or the 3rd and 5th, most likely. If it does, then I will definitely be there for at least one of those joint practices, if not both, whatever they are. I'm probably going to skip the 6th because that 8:30 is a little early for me. I did do it once and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Because the lack of sleep, you know what I mean? After coming off that August 5th to August 6th and you get the 8:30 in the morning, oof. Yikes. You know what I mean? That's going to be tough on some people that are late shift workers, you know what I mean? That work that nighttime shift. So I feel for y'all, you know, on that one. Y'all might want to skip that 8:30 though. But yeah, I'll be there for the 27th for sure. The rest of the days I'm trying to kind of fill out right now to do and schedule. But that's what we're looking at right now. But yeah, for the days that I'm going to be there, 27th to 30th, let me know that you're coming, and either through private messaging or comments on the page or the channel comment section for the stream or whatever, and I will get with you and we will get together for those 2 days. You know, we'll schedule that up. I would, again, advise anybody that is coming to the training camp, buy sunscreen and Gatorade. Let me say that again. For the people that are going to training camp, any of these days, especially in the hot sun, buy sunscreen and Gatorade. You will not regret it. That heat at 10:30 in the morning gets to about 98 degrees, and the humidity is awful. If you've been in South Carolina yesterday, particularly mid-afternoon yesterday, you felt that heat. That's a pretty good indication of what you go through at 10:30 in the morning during these training camp practices. That humidity is no joke. Protect yourselves. Hydrate up. Seriously. I don't want to see anybody ending up in the hospital on IVs. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the people looking like lobsters. You know what I mean? Y'all take care of yourselves. For real. Especially the people that are traveling from up north that aren't used to that. Those are the ones that really, really need to hear that information, because if this is your first training camp, you're not going to be used to it in the first day or so. I can guarantee it. It's going to hit you like a 10-ton truck. That's how that South Carolina weather is, man. It's either blazing hot or it's just cooling temperatures at night during this time of year. So I would highly advise, if you are coming, the 30th is probably the best one for you. You know, if you're not used to that heat and it's the first time coming through, you know, that 7 o'clock p.m., you know, is probably going to be your best bet. And from what I'm understanding, the last couple of years that they did that back together Saturday, they did that in Wofford Stadium. They didn't do it in the practice facility. They did it in the stadium. So, you know, do be aware of that. But most of them are going to be right behind it. And they are doing autographs this year. I was told that they are doing autographs. But be very, very careful. Do not break that fence again. That's one of the 2 reasons they stopped it. And I was right next to that fence when they broke it. And people were trying to get Luke Kuechly's autograph a few years ago. I'll never forget that. That was right before COVID hit. People were trying to get Luke. It was either Christian McCaffrey or Greg Olsen or Luke. I forget which one it was. But they were trying to get said player's autograph, and oh god, everybody piled up on that plastic fence and almost broke it. So I have a feeling that that reason and COVID is the reason they stopped doing autographs. Because I tried to get J.C. Horn's autograph last year, and that's how I found out about it. I didn't even find out about it on the websites. I had to find out through a player that I was trying to get an autograph from, or a video from, promoting my channel. And I'm like, come on, guys, be better. Put this stuff on the website. Let people know that you're not doing it, if you're not doing it. Make people more aware of the signs, in the place. So that they're just like, okay, well, they're not doing autographs, so we should leave, right? Common sense. I just want people to be aware. That's what training camp is going to be like for people that have never experienced it. And, I'll shoot videos and stuff, and I'll kind of point out certain things in these videos to kind of give you an idea what the training camp experience is like. If you can't make it there, or you live in like a different country or something, that's what these videos are for, so you guys can see these players, what they're doing, the different drills, why they're doing them, and how it's improving them. And also, like, the different people I talk to during these training camps, just give you an experience, the training camp experience. And a lot of these YouTubers don't do this, and I'm very happy to continue this tradition for you guys, because it's important, A lot of fans don't get to experience this. And, hopefully one day some of you will, if you're traveling from out of state, if you're in the U.S. But a lot of people that are out of country won't get to experience it, and I just want to kind of help out with that and try to make sure everybody enjoys that opportunity and gets the most out of it and learns as much as they can about our players. And of course you'll get my opinions as well, being that I'm a Panthers YouTuber. But the main goal is to get that fan experience that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So Agent Trotsky says, Ben McAdoo did awful calling plays with the Giants. What do you mean? That's true. But the Giants management didn't exactly build around who's that quarterback from Duke they have up there? I forget his name. They didn't build around him. And that's one of the main reasons why that offense didn't work. If you're going to put an offense in, you got to put players in that run that same system, that run those same plays, that do exactly what you're expecting them to do, and get the most out of the system that you're trying to put in. There's always that off chance that the offensive coordinator is actually terrible. I mean, we experienced that last year, right? Come on. But 9 times out of 10, it's because you didn't build around them and you didn't put the proper players in that can run those systems properly. So, I mean, we'll see. We do have a lot more weapons and a lot more versatility than the Giants did when he was up there in New York. So, and we also have a solid starting 5 now. So we'll see where that goes, Okay. He could have done much better with running plays for Saquon, though I can't lie. Hope he has some sort of place that could really get CMC out in the open this year. Yeah, good point. Okay, good point. I did notice that as well, and I was hoping that Saquon Barkley would have a lot more success up there, but that's again goal number one. You got to have the offensive line to open up those holes. If you don't have the offensive line, your running game's dead already. Number two, you got to have proper blocking techniques for those offensive linemen. If those linemen don't block properly, don't use the proper footwork, don't use the proper hands, footwork, it's not going to go well. So, and I met Steven Davis's cousin recently, and he could probably tell you more about that right there. Because he's watched his cousin run through some of those holes back in the day with the offensive line that we had. But that's the starting point, Then you got to have the proper play calling. That's when that comes in. It's all three working in tandem together that makes these running games so successful. Plus, you get a special player like CMC who just absolutely shreds. And I have a feeling that Barclay has that talent in him. You just have to build a line. You have to have the proper running lanes for him. And play call for him in order for him to succeed. And I think, who do they have as offensive coordinator now? I have no idea. Oh, excuse me. But I think that's going to change things. Considering Ben McAdoo is more shotgun style anyway. You got to think. McAdoo's system is shotgun and quick draw plays, right? Quick plays. Get the ball out quick. So, he's not going to focus as much on the offensive line in the running games. He kind of leaves that up to the upper management to deal with the offensive line. As far as building the proper line for him to use. He can give his input on what he wants, but and tell him, okay, this is the system I'm running, this is the types of plays I'm running, this is the type of player that we're looking for. Can they do this, A, B, and C to open up these gaps? And that's the type of players you want to look for when you go hunting for them. In free agency, the draft, wherever. Or in trades. But, yeah, a lot of it does have to do with play calling, and that's what happens, after the fact that you dealt with all of that. Maybe the O-line let play calling thrive. Giants had some of the worst offensive line problems. Not so much here with Carolina with the line is solid. I wouldn't say solid. Man. We were below average for a good chunk of last year on offensive line. Way below average. 20s range, I would probably rank them at. Is that a fair assessment? From the people that were watching them. I don't know. Everybody's going to have a different assessment. But solid is not the word I would use. For sure it's not. Definitely not. But yeah, the Giants had some of the same problems up there. So, but when you think back to 2017-18, we did have a solid enough line that we could get the running game going, and it wasn't a problem. There were times in 2020 when we had a pretty good run game going, and they had trouble stopping us when he was healthy and on the field. They had a lot of problems stopping us. CMC is that player that you have to watch constantly on defense. You have to know exactly where he is, and you'll hear different players that have played against him say that in documentaries later on. You watch and see. When he's healthy and on the field, you have to know exactly where he is, where he's lining up, what he's going to do, or have a pretty good guess of what he might do. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt. It doesn't matter what offense he's running. CMC is just that talented and electric. Whereas people like Saquon Barkley are like your average top grade running back, that gets drafted every year, that yes, you still have to know exactly where he is, but the system helps determine, what are the best uses for Saquon Barkley? Where can we put him to best get the most effectiveness out of him? And that's what the Giants had trouble with, was the fact that A, they didn't have the line, B, Saquon Barkley was one of those top grade running backs that gets drafted every year. That's not a special player like CMC, a Pro Bowler type CMC player, that's going to shred the heck out of you if you're not watching him constantly. That's the difference between those two running backs. And C, they didn't put Barkley in the most effective places to where he could get the most out of his yardage and catches and lanes. So it wasn't necessarily completely McAdoo's fault that happened. So that's what I'm trying to say, is it's not entirely his fault. There was a lot of other factors that went on there. 3 or 4, I'm going to stay hopeful that McAdoo will get things done. I think he will. Got a lot of work to do, but I think I've got a lot of faith right now. A lot of empty faith until I see some of these plays in training camp. The basic drills. Let's see what he throws out there. But the real test will be in preseason. Once I see some of these plays in action during preseason, I'll say, okay, well, now we can all just kind of take a breather and be like, okay, either this works or it doesn't. It's either time to take a breather or it's time to go into suspect mode. You know what I mean? Where you're just going, I don't like that. I don't like that, and I feel nervous going into the season. Typically after the second preseason game, you kind of get an idea. You've seen all the patterns, you've seen all the styles, you've seen a lot of stuff that could lead to potential big plays, or not. You're either going to see one or the other with new offensive coordinators. That's how that works. But if in the case that, like I said, you're only going to see a certain percentage of his playbook in preseason. You're not going to see a very high number of plays that he would normally run during regular season. So, potentially, your best guess of what his offense is going to truly look like is after week 1. You'll be able to assess the entire 4-quarter game. You'll be able to look at, okay, these plays worked, these plays didn't. Why did these plays work? Why did these plays not work? And then you'll be able to diagnose it properly. To the fullest extent that you want to. Preseason, you're only going to get a small taste of it, maybe 25% of it, if that. That's how preseason works. Is they don't use all those typical plays. You'll see your typical screens. You'll see your typical draw plays, wheel routes, all that stuff that you normally see, like everybody do. That's what you'll see in preseason. Once you start getting into regular season mode, you'll start to see, okay, well, here comes some of these plays that throw these defenses into a loop. First quarter. They have no idea what to expect. Okay? Unless they've seen your style before and they recognize at least half a dozen of your plays right out of the gate, then you're going to throw those defenses for a loop for about a quarter until they start figuring it out. The smarter players like J.J. Watt will start figuring it out. And they'll start being like, oh, okay, we need to shift here, we need to shift here, we need to do this, we need to put coverage here. Until they could really start diagnosing some of these newer plays, they're not going to do well. So, first quarter, you got to see like 14 points on the board, a little more often than you might think with new offensive coordinators. Depending on the players that you have, and depending on what the team's history has been as well. There's so many factors that go into that. I don't even know where to start, really. But relatively, you're not going to truly know what you have until you've seen enough game tape to really do something with it. That's why a lot of these players wait till halftime and then they're just like, oh, well, he did this and this and this and that worked. Okay, why did this work? And they start really breaking it down within like a 5-minute period, and they're like, oh, okay, I see patterns on how to beat it now. So we need to do this, this, and this to respond to that. With McAdoo, I'm not entirely sure what we're dealing with yet. Because I haven't watched many Giants games in the last couple of years. I'll admit that to you. So I don't have much tape to work with, as far as what we're looking at. I could go back on YouTube and start watching a few of the older games and just see. But I feel like that would just be a waste of time when I can just watch them in training camp and preseason and get a better taste of it there. In person, listen to their conversations, on the sidelines, this and this and that, But really, jury is still very, very much out on McAdoo until I know more about him. Alright. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Throw it in chat. Open topic. We are celebrating the trade. Baker is a Panther. Very excited about that. I think we covered pretty much all our topics. Unless somebody's got something new. 26th. I don't know why they said 26 when... No, we're not marked down for the 26th. The 27th is the starting one. I'm a little confused on that one. Huh. Let's check the website. Schedule. No, we need training camp. What we need. I have a feeling it starts on the 27th, though. Hartsfield's been ready to take the next step. Maybe. It's just the beginning for Terrace Marshall. Yep, I agree with that. He's ready. He's ready to push. Brian Burns earning notice as a top pass rusher. That's true. We finally got Brandon Smith to sign that rookie deal on the 30th. About time. I was like, what is taking that deal so long to get signed? Okay. First practice is the 27th. Okay? 27th. Disregard this. I'm actually going to... Well, I'm not going to delete it. I'm just... Okay, there we go. So nobody gets misled. Alright, there we go. Would not want that happening. Alright. By the way, welcome to all of the new members on the Facebook page. We're up to 288 now. That's amazing. That's wonderful. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to the crew. Hope you guys feel that you are part of the family and enjoy your time with us. You know? And again, I want to say, huge welcome to Stephen Davis's cousin. That's very exciting to have. There he is. To have him be a part of our crew. And hopefully you're enjoying the content. Good sir. And for those interested, I did post the entire game of the Week 9 versus the Packers back in 2015. I also posted the Colts game back in 2015 that I was a part of, the rainy game, the monsoon. And, of course, the NFC Championship game against the Cardinals. I wanted to post that as well. And if you're going to learn anything about this team, as far as who we are, what we do, and what we represent, that Cardinals game really showed you exactly what we are fully capable of, with every piece doing exactly what they needed to be doing in every way possible. And it was truly terrifying. For any team that was coming into Charlotte for the playoffs against us in 15, it was terrifying. They were not expecting that at all. Man. Maybe next year we'll have streams where we watch old games and stuff. Would that be fun for you guys? Of course, I'll need to pause it, every little bit, to make sure that we don't get copyrighted. But still, would that appeal to everybody? Would you guys be interested in that? And I apologize that I have not gotten to my off-season video series yet. I've had a lot going on in the last couple of months, so I've had a lot to deal with. So once I get some time, I'll start recording that stuff. But it is in the process of being prepared, and I will have that recorded here soon for you guys. Yeah, I'll probably release it right before training camp. Oh, I also got a new Super Bowl 50 hat. So, for those of you that know how hard it is to get Super Bowl gear, that's rather impressive that I managed to find that hat. And I'm very, very happy about that one. I love that hat. As well as the one I'm wearing right now. It is unique. I got it online. Not from any of the official Panthers pages, but I think I got it from Fanatics, as a matter of fact. But, it's a conversation starter. That's the goal. That's how we draw people in here, and I'm very proud of my hat collection. And we also have this one as well. Because I've had a lot of people ask me, what's your channel name? There it is. Read it. All caps. Also, Luke was at practice a couple of days ago. In the middle of June. He was at one of our practices. That was really awesome. We really miss him being here, and doing stuff with the team, and that was really refreshing for me, seeing him on that sideline and talking to the coaches and stuff, and that was a beautiful thing. I really, really did like that. Now, PFF is grading our offensive line at 24. Carl says, give camping time to give these guys some chemistry and we'll be climbing up that list. I agree with that. I agree with him. I think we will. If we can keep these guys healthy for 75% of the year, we'll really be in business. Gronk retires for the second time. I'm just sitting here like, really? You fooled me once, but I'm not falling for it twice. Okay? You're not fooling me twice, bro. Gronk, just stay retired, bro. Please. You know, you got nothing left to prove. You got nothing left to show everybody. Just retire, bud. And I got that football signed by Frankie Louvu. So, that's pretty cool, too. Thank you, Frankie, for the autograph. Appreciate and love you, buddy. Keep doing what you do. Anything else I want to cover? Corey McKinney says about Baker, we basically got him for backup pay. Oh, man. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. That's beautiful. We aren't entirely sure what we're going to do with him yet. That's the thing, man. What else? What else? Oh, here's the cut dates. Roster cut dates. You start out with 90 in training camp. You go down to 85. 85 to 80 on the 23rd. And then 80 to 53. And the 80 to 53 is the most dangerous cut period because that period is guaranteed to piss you off in some way, shape, or form because you're going to lose somebody off that roster that you really, really like. It's guaranteed every year. Every year. I haven't experienced a year where it hasn't happened yet. There's a proposed trade between us and the Packers to send Robbie to Green Bay. I mean, what was it they were offering again? Let me see. I forget what they were offering. It is unlikely that Carolina would give up Anderson for future draft picks as they want to surround Sam Darnold and Matt Corral with as much weaponry as possible. That's how you get weaponry. That's how you get these people. You sign them off the free agent list. You draft these players. How do you think we got Terrace Marshall Jr.? Oh my gosh. That's yet another website that just doesn't understand us and how things are done. Alright, so the proposed trade is Robbie Anderson for tight end Hosea Degara. Is that how you say his last name? Getting names mispronounced wrong. I try my best though. No disrespect to any of the players, that I mispronounced the names of. Just let me know that I mispronounced your name wrong, and I'll try to correct it as best I can. Thank you. But yeah, the tight end and the 2023 conditional 6th or 7th round pick. Yeah, see, for me, that's not gonna do it. That's not gonna do it. I gotta have a 5th, bro. Sixth or seventh is not, no. Sixth or seventh is not enough. I'll take the tight end at a fifth. Considering what Belichick offered for him, which was a third, straight up a third. No. No. Sorry, Green Bay, I can't do that. If I was GM, I could not do that. It's just not enough. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the third is more valuable because Scott could do a lot more with it. And you're thinking, like, linebackers, you're thinking offensive linemen, you're thinking corners, defensive ends, defensive tackles. Sky's the limit with a third round pick. Depends on what's there. You know? Depends on what's still there after the first 2 rounds. You could also trade. You could... There's a lot you could do. Third round pick, you have options. That's the main reason I was pointing that out. Which makes this Baker Mayfield trade so great. Because we're looking at a 5th round conditional. Like, what can you do with a 5th round conditional? Not a whole lot. There's not much that's going to be left down there on that board around the 5th round. Even early 5th round, you're still... you know what I mean? It depends on what positions you're still looking for. And what you still need. If you don't need anything, then yeah, 5th round is just a 5th round. At that point, you don't mind giving that up. But if you're looking to keep building and you need something in every position, then you might want to keep that 5th. You know what I mean? But right now, no. And I'll tell you this. This is a 2024 5th round conditional. And what that means is that by the time we hit 2024 draft, we have already built up about 75% of this team to right where we want to be. We'll have the money, we'll have the talent, we'll have the depth for the most part, and it'll just be a matter of filling in the last few holes. So that 5th isn't really going to affect us long term. And what's great about that is that's a conditional. So if he doesn't pan out, we can move him. We can cut him. And we don't lose anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the perfect scenario, trade value wise. And that's what I was hoping, was the Browns would get so desperate that they would trade him for next to nothing. Which is exactly what they did. So, Scott played the waiting game. And he played it so effectively that Seattle just could not counter with anything decent. Even though they've got all the bargaining power. They've got all the weaponry. They've got everything that Baker could possibly need. But yet, somehow we won. Why is that? It's because Scott knew what he was doing. He knew exactly how to play the waiting game. He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew exactly how to get it. And he knew exactly what we needed to offer to get it. And brilliant job, Scott. Brilliant. Brilliant. Cheers to Scott right now. Cheers. Everybody's got a drink. Cheers. That man just completely out-magicianed the Browns on this one. That's one of the best trades I've ever seen. I've seen some good ones too. I've seen some real mammoth trades. That one ranks up there for us. Because of what we got out of it at the proper time and in the proper way to set ourselves up. And you know what? If he doesn't work out, we still got Sam Darnold. We've still got PJ Walker. You know, we've still got Matt that we just drafted. We're okay. You know? There's no way we can lose on this trade. We're only paying half his salary, for goodness sakes. There's no way we can lose on this. I mean, leave it to Scott to find the perfect trade to where we do not lose at all. That was a masterpiece of a trade. And it's going to go totally unnoticed. That's the most amazing thing. It's going to go totally unnoticed. The media won't even cover it. ESPN, it'll show up as a blip on ESPN. And they'll just overlook it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You're never going to notice it until week 1 if you're not watching a major sports telecast. Because then they'll broadcast it everywhere in week 1 against the Browns. You'll see it everywhere. And then, poof, just as quickly as it came in, it'll be gone. But right now, you're not going to hear heads or tails of it. Media doesn't want us to be successful. It's been that way for years. Still is. Let them ignore us, man. Let them ignore us. Because you know what? In 23 and 24, we're going to be celebrating. And retaking our house in the South. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. Right out from everybody's nose. Right when they least expect it. You watch all these newscasters. I'll give you an example. They're saying we're going to get 3 wins this year. They're saying we're going to get 3 wins this year. You're kidding me. You are literally kidding me. 3 wins doesn't even buy you a meal at McDonald's. As far as the Richter scale of power in the NFL. You might as well be number 1 pick. That's how much they're disrespecting us right now. I'm going to tell you something, folks. You watch in 23. They're going to say the same thing. 6 wins. 5 wins. 4 wins. Watch us get 9 or 10. And just blow everybody's minds. The comeback tour. That's when we get all our pieces put together, man. That's when Tom Brady retires. That's when everything that we're looking for fits right into place. That's when we make our run. That's where it officially begins. You'll start to see all the fruits of our labor that we've been working on for the last 2 to 3 years under Scott Fitterer and under Tepper and under Phil Snow. Start to fall. We're gonna be breaking out more champagne drinks. We're gonna be breaking out more celebratory drinks, man. 23 and 24. We keep building. But if we sabotage ourselves, it's going to be 24 or 25. That's why we got to get Matt Rule out of here, man. He's got to go. It's training wheels. I'm trying to tell you, it's training wheels. We don't need the training wheels no more. We don't need it. I don't know, bro. I don't know. But this trade is so great on so many different levels. I am so happy that we finally have something to celebrate. Even if it's just for a few minutes, you know? Some people don't like Baker. I mean, look, guys. It's the same people, the same people that don't like Baker right now, that haven't even seen him throw a single pass in a Panther uniform, are the same ones that were bashing Teddy Bridgewater before he came in here and put on a Panther uniform. I mean, you judge these players on their past, but that's not what we're here for. We're judging them on what they do in a black and blue uniform. I don't care what they did before. Once they come here, they're in that black and blue uniform. Let's see what they do here. That's what I want to talk about. You know what I mean? And if they did well before this, okay, sure, we can talk about that. You know, if they did bad, let's focus on what they're doing here now. Why do we want to focus on the negatives of what they did before? Once they're here, they're here. You know what I'm saying? There's not much we can really do about that. The management is going to do what they do. They're going to pick who they pick. They're going to trade for who they trade. They're going to sign who they sign. They're going to draft pick who they draft pick. That's just going to be how it is. We as fans don't really have that much say. However, we can suggest players. We can suggest things that can help them. And that's one of the goals of this channel, is to try to get the management to notice some of these suggestions and listen to the people. You know what I mean? A little bit more. I'm not saying completely listen to them. I'm saying a little bit more than they have been. Because they've been tunnel vision in the last 6 or 7 years. Y'all know this. Y'all know this just as well as I do. When Ron Rivera was running things from 2016 on to when he got fired, they couldn't give two flying birds what people thought of him. They couldn't care. They didn't care about us. Even though we had like the best solutions possible that could have saved this franchise, nobody wanted to hear it. So Panthers fans started losing their minds. They wanted the coach fired. We got it done. Matt Rule comes in. Matt Rule doesn't care what we have to say. He doesn't care about our opinions. It's round 2 of it. It's round 2 of it, basically. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of it. He's going to hear us. He's going to hear us after this year. Because Panther fans don't have enough of Matt Rule. But cheers to the man that is saving this franchise right now, Scott Fitterer. This man is pulling a 180 with this franchise, and I love it. Man, if y'all love this too, man, give this stream a heart, man. Give it a like, give it a heart. Show some love to Scott right now for what he's doing for us. Show some love. Because without that, man, we would be truly still in the doghouse. We would be so far deep in that ditch that we dug as a franchise that we wouldn't even be able to find our way out of it. So, we have a lot of thank yous to Scott Fitterer right now to give to him. And a lot of credit to give to him. Man. That dude is the savior of this team. If anybody doesn't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. If this trade does not prove that to you, I don't know what to tell you. Every part of it's beautiful. Find me a part that isn't. Like, he even addressed the most prominent concern of it, which was the money. He even addressed that. And he said, we ain't signing that deal until you pay half of his money. That's my man Scott right there. That's my dude. He plays hardball with these people. Find me another GM that does that. That's money right there. That's straight up money. I ain't seen a GM do that before. Even Gettleman was soft when it came to trading. Even Gettleman was soft. And that's coming from me saying that. You know, because I've been one of the strongest supporters of Gettleman during that time. And I'm saying he was soft during that time on trading. We finally got somebody that isn't. And I am rejoicing right now. Absolutely rejoicing. Matter of fact, let's go see what people are saying. I like that picture right there, though. He's baking us some Panther cookies. Changing that address. Yup. Baking at 704 degrees. Yes, sir. Alright, so. There's some stuff about Brian Burns that everybody's been talking about. But yeah, let's get into this comment section. I want to see what people are saying. Real quick. Low risk, high reward. He's better than watching Darnold. 93 likes on that. I'll add one. Better than anything they had already. I'll agree with that. Not a huge fan of Baker, but definitely like his intensity on the field. Kind of like Delhomme Fire. Jake was also hit or miss with throwing the ball. Okay. Okay. This is a great deal. If he doesn't work out, then we only lose a fifth. But with his upside, it could be great for the team. Exactly. Exactly. But we got somebody that understands what's going on right now. Thank you, Jared. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This man gets it. And 88 other people get it too. Love that. We finally got some people that know what they're talking about now. Let's see. Can't wait for this locker room explosion from Mayfield and Rule fighting over the throne. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Great deal having Cleveland cover a lot of the contract. Yes. I'm a Baker fan. Liked him as a college player. Liked him as a Brown. Liked the energy and emotion he brings each game. I already like him as a Panther. Even like his TV commercials. Yeah. Yeah. His TV commercials are dope. Love them. As a lifelong Sooner who lives in Spartanburg, South Carolina, where they have the training camp, Baker Mayfield is one of my favorite all-time Sooners. He doesn't have all the talent in the world, but he plays with a chip on his shoulder. The Panthers coaching staff can figure out how to use him. He's going to shine. Yes. Completely agree. Yeah, here we go. People forget the dude took Cleveland to the playoffs and won a game for the first time in 30 years for that franchise. He's way better than Darnold, that's for sure. We don't have to give up anything to get him. Yeah. This is perfect. Both Sam and Baker on super cheap rookie deals. And we have plenty of time to decide if we want to sign long term. Yes. This is exactly the ideal situation we want. You're exactly right. Better than Darnold with a refurbished O-line. Maybe you can win some games with us. McCaffrey healthy would be huge. And if Robbie gets to throw it to him accurately, hopefully he can catch it. Well, even if he was throwing the ball accurately, he still didn't catch it. That's the thing, man. But hopefully that gets better in 2022. Hopefully he steps it up with the jug machine, you know what I mean? Let's see. I think we can handle his personality. We had Cam, who was allowed to be Cam. Better than dry toast Darnold. Some excitement would be nice. Pour you a sweet tea and come on down, Baker. Yep. I would agree with that. You know, I don't have a problem with his personality. As long as, you know, he keeps the focus on the field and professional. You know, I think we're okay. Like, even with that whole controversy up in Cleveland, you never saw him really throw shade at Cleveland during that time. It was more so, I just want to get out of here type attitude. And I don't blame him for that, you know. Even if he did throw a little shade at Cleveland, I wouldn't blame him because of the situation. You know, you throw everything at Watson and then Watson doesn't play, and then you're like, well, what do I do now? Where does that leave me? I feel it, man. I feel that frustration. I completely get it. You know? So, honestly, his personality doesn't bother me. I've seen a lot worse in the NFL, trust me. Yeah, so yeah, and Baker didn't just go to the playoffs. He beat Pittsburgh. He slaughtered Pittsburgh for that first playoff win. I mean, come on. Come on. Find me a single person that wasn't a Steelers fan that didn't love that. He's brash, but he's shown that he's far from Johnny Manziel 2.0. Anytime I've seen Baker play, it's obvious he loves football. I'm willing to roll with it, especially with the improvements we made on the offensive line. Yeah, I feel that. The best pickup we've received in a long time. Baker, CMC, Moore, Anderson, Higgins, a better offense line. I'm happy with this. I mean, look at all this positivity. Look at this. Look at this comment section. What have you seen this comment section be this positive about anything? Literally anything. It's amazing. I love this. Man, it's just beautiful to watch. It really is. This is making me happy. Got him for nothing. Got to pay $5 million on his current contract and a 5th round pick in the draft. I bet they sent Darnold to Seattle and Panthers get clear. That would be awesome. You imagine Seattle going after Darnold? I don't know. I don't think they would. You never know, though. For a 5th round pick, absolute steal. Thank you. Yes, sir. It is. He's an upgrade over Darnold, so I'll take it. And hope for the best. Still wouldn't mind having Cam for goal line situation. I agree with that. I agree with that. Cam was a real weapon in goal line situations. Y'all saw it during the Cardinals game last year. Dang near automatic points once in the red zone. Yep. What team wouldn't want that? Exactly, man. That's the question I'm asking. What team wouldn't want that? Look at this. I'm not mad about it. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I'm just enjoying every bit of this. Because we've had so much toxicity in these chats, man. So much in these comment sections. So much in these Facebook group pages. It's just, this is so refreshing. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like water when you're walking through the Sahara Desert. Honestly. This is what we need. Hope it works out for y'all. I'm a Washington fan. See, even the Washington fans are giving us love, man. Look at this. Even the Washington fans are giving us love for this move. Yes. You love to see it. That's so cool. Hey, shout out to the Washington fans, man. Y'all are pretty chill. I haven't had any of them come in here and cause any toxic stuff or anything. Y'all have been pretty chill. Y'all have been good people. So, shout out to y'all and respect to y'all. This is a great day for us. He's mad and he's about to show out. Go Baker. Yup. Yes, sir. Alright, so there you go. Finally, Panthers will have a good leader on the field, like him or not. Mayfield is a baller. The guy leaves it all out there on the field. This guy put me back in Bank of America Stadium. That's exactly what people like that do. That we put on this team. That's exactly what they do. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, guys. That in mind, I don't think there's anything else I need to cover, so keep an eye on the Facebook group page. That will be where I will be doing all the announcements for the training camp, fan day, and the special project YouTube videos that will come out. You'll see the announcement for that. But if you need to get in touch with me somehow about the fan day or the training camp to schedule something, hit me up in the comment section on there. Is the best way to do it. Facebook page, or through private messaging, or through the live chat during the streams. Thank you guys so much. Remember, you guys have until the 13th, I think. Is it the 13th? I believe it is the 13th. To let me know if you guys want to be in the same group with me at Fan Day. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah. So you guys will have till the 12th to let me know about that. If you guys want to be joining me up for Fan Fest and just represent as a group, very much appreciate that. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully we can make that happen. We'll buy group seats together at Fan Fest on the day of. Once we've chatted about it and figured out what we wanted to do. But that's the last day if you want to do that. If not, no problem. Keep an eye on the Facebook group page. Will not be there, and what days will be available for scheduling once I have heard from the last two people. Then I'll open it up for the followers and the subscribers to let me know. Alright. That being said, one last cheers for Scott Fitterer and this amazing trade. Cheers, my man. What a day, what a day, what a day. Alright, I'll go ahead and add you in here real quick. Real quick. Mr. Andy Bailey. What's going on, Andy? Welcome to the stream. How you feeling about this trade right now? You good? Can you hear us? You getting a delay? Is that what's going on? Alright. Mr. Bailey, how you feeling about this trade, my man? What you got to say? Feeling good? Or are you just trying to catch up with the stream there? Well, anyway, you guys know the scheduling so far.
If we ever need one, or when it comes time to get one, we can depend on it.
Right. You there? I don't think you can hear us. Alright, well, you guys know my training camps announcement as far as that's going to go. So, I don't know of really anything else I really want to discuss. So, at this point, I think we're going to pretty much call it a stream here. Unless our man, Mr. Bailey here has something he wants to say, then we'd love to entertain that, for sure. Okay. Okay, you're sending a message. Got it. Got it. Let me check the chat. Okay. Baker Mayfield can give the Odell Beckham treatment to Robbie Anderson. Wow. True. He can. I got to see Oklahoma Sooners quarterback play in person 3rd year. Wow. How was that? How was that experience? I bet that was exciting. Okay, and he asked me earlier, is it the same time every year? Pretty much it's the same time every year. They change the timing every once in a while. Wouldn't mind taking my son up there some year to Spartanburg. Wofford, yep. It is in Wofford University, yes. Beautiful campus, beautiful place. Definitely worth going to. Took my son 1 year to Steelers training camp in Pennsylvania. Latrobe, Pennsylvania? Okay. He had fun, but me, it wasn't Steelers. It would be perfect. Okay. Yeah, true. We have had joint practices down here towards the last 2 weeks. Keep that in mind if you are going to the training camps. So, I haven't seen any announcements about it this year, but I will keep you guys posted. Keep it on the Facebook page, group page, and that will I'll be posting those announcements there when I see them, as soon as I see them. So sometimes I'm a little late because I'm dealing with some stuff, but you know, people were blowing up my phone the last few days, so but people were blowing up my phones for today, so I'm very happy about that. All right. That being said, that will wrap things up. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you guys in the next stream or in the next videos. Hit that like, follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Let me know about that training camp days, when you want to schedule for those, and Fan Day. Check the Facebook group page for that. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Key.